Alright, Georgia Military College Student Handbook, August 2025. Georgia Military College Chapter Charter Above All. Character Above All. I'm going to increase the size. Message from the Dean of Student with the Georgia Military College Cadet Prayer of the Georgia Military College Alum Matter General Policy Regulations. Students are related to the activity student code, student rights and responsibility compliance, student disability services, gender-based misconduct policy, text Title 9, confident privacy reporting policy, equivalently guaranteed with the result of the complaints, harassment, sexual misconduct, other forms of discrimination, general information acknowledgement. Message from the Dean. Welcome to the Georgia Military College. Since 1879, GMC has been the character leadership base for the institution, training with the developing future leaders over the GMC, with the part of the community, with aspiring leaders, a member of the community. We encourage you to get involved with the participate for lasting friendships and carry on traditions, legacy with the Georgia Institution Handbook is an excellent starting point for learning about GMC culture and the community. You must take the time to familiarize yourself with the handbook. It is designed to help you learn about various opportunities available at the Georgia Military College. Have a great year. John Shelley, Vice President, Student Service Accreditation Institution, Dean of Students, Georgia Military College Cadet Prayer. Almighty God, General of all life forces, Commander of the nature, we praise thy holy name. Visit thy presence upon us of all former GMC cadets. Reinforce it in us in our quest, knowledge, integrity, leadership, and instill with humanitarianism. Bless our enemies, whoever he may be. Extinguish our daily lives, greedy envy, make us champions of right and ladies and gentlemen of honor. May we glorify the name of the victory and be courageous in defeat. Help us ever think first of our comrades, second of ourselves, and always see with the guide of footsteps cleansing our mind. May we be first in service of the country, first in thy service. Lead us, O Lord, that we might lead. Amen. Cadet who volunteer for cadet chaplain will commit cadet prayer to memory and prepare to recite when called to do so on special occasions. Georgia Military College all matter. O'er the hills, dear Georgia, loyal all we go, year by year, marching onward, cheering GMC. Hail to thee, O alma mater. May thy cause prevail, the name for be honored GMC. All hail near thy portal vision, splendor, fills us with hope and soul for the life of the valiant and services of those has made our goal. Hail to thee, O alma mater. May thy cause prevail, thy name forever be honored. GMC, all hail, we from thy halls have parted. Life's battle of one with the great spirit, with the ensure with the till eternal dawn. Hail of thee, all mater. May thy cause prevail, with the name forever be honored. The GMC, all hail. Alright, general policies and regulation introduction. GMC with exists solely with the support of the education of the national need with the student with the provide unique leadership with the development experience with the help of share with all the students with the full use of the time of the GMC with the college published with the tree with the procedure with the guide with the student faculty and administrative staff. Student handbook focus with the need with the student with the contain with the information that will be valued with the pursuit with the study with the member of the leadership community. Additional information, unique specific program locations will be provided to each GMC location. Should the question or issue with the rise not covered by this handbook, feel free to touch with the institution. Dean of Students 478387489. Accreditation. GMC colleges accredited by the Southern Association of the College and Schools Commission on Colleges, or SACSCOOC, to award associate, bachelor's, applied science degrees. GMC also may offer credentials, certificate, diplomas approved with a degree level. The question of accreditation. GMC may the director of the Southern Association Colleges and Schools Commission on the Colleges, 1866 Southern Lane, Decatur, Georgia 333 4097, calling 404-679 4500 by using information available on the Southern Association College Schools and Commission on Colleges website, SAACOCOC.org. Special notes. The statement outlined in the handbook is informational purpose only, should not be construed with a basic contract between the students of this institution, although every effort that has been made to ensure the accuracy of the matter stated with herein. Georgia Military College reserve the right to train within any of the provisions handbook, included not limited to academic requirements for graduation, with the actual notice for the individual students. Every effort will be made to keep the students alive with such changes. Information regarding academic requirements for graduation available to the Office for the Academic Affairs of the Graduation shows the responsible each student to keep it alive with the current graduation requirement of the degree program, which students over the to enroll with the information regarding the requirements of the graduation, listed with the college catalog, and student handbook, companion publications describing Georgia Military College and rules, procedures with their excellent reference for the students. College law catalog take precedence and likely conflict between the two documents. Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, academic and administrative college subscribe to the non-discrimination provisions of Title 6, Civil Rights Act of 1960, which means no person in the United States shall, on the grounds of sex, race, color, sexual orientation, disability, national origin, be subject to discrimination under any of the program, activity, affirmative action, equal opportunity office, associated Vice President with the Human Resource 478 387 265. Title 9, Education Amendments of 1972, Academic Administrative Policy, College subscribe to the non-restriction provisions. Title 9, Educational Amendments of 1972, which states no person in the United States shall be based on sex, excluded for the participation and denied benefits for the subject to the discrimination under any of the educational program or activity. Title 9, Coordinator of the Human Resources may be contacted at 478-387 and 4957 and understream throughout the handbook. All other publications, GMC, terms such as he, his, himself, and chairman are used without regard to sex. Affirmative action, equal opportunity, officer of the Vice President, Human Resource 478-387-7265, understand throughout the handbook, all of the publications GMC with the terms he, himself, and the chairman are used without regard to sex. Family Education Rights of the Privacy Act, Family Education Rights Privacy Act of the FERPA affords parents and students who are 18 years of age or older eligible students certain rights concerning with the student with the education records that right. So the right inspect with the view of the student's education records within 45 days after the day with the Georgia Military College receives the access for the request parent. Eligible students who wish to inspect the child with their own personal educational records, if they could submit with a written request with appropriate to senior academic administrator that identify with the records they want to review. The school's official that will make the access arrangement and notify of the parent eligible student for the time and place for the documents may be inspected. Right requested to move with the student education records of the parent eligible student believes the inaccurate, misleading, otherwise violation of the student with the private rights under the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act with the parents and student with the wish of the GMC with the admin of the child with their own personal education records to provide for the school register clarify identifying part of the record that wish of it to be changed with specify with the which should be changed with the school with the term and amendment that does not coincide with the policy of the past president. School will notify of the parent eligible students of the decision and advise them of the right of hearing regarding with the request of the amendment with additional information regarding with the hearing and the process of the provided with the parent and eligible student notify of the right to hearing. Right to provide with written consent before school disclose with the personal and identifiable information from the student educational records except for the FARPA, Federal Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of the authority disclosure without consent. 1. Exemption of the permitted disclosure without consent of the disclosure of school official legitimate educational interest of school official persons employed by GMC within an administrative supervisor academic research support staff of the position includes law enforcement unit personnel with the health staff of the person company within whom GMC with a contract such as the attorney auditor with a collection agent with a person serving with the board of trustees or with a student serving with an official committee with the staff of the disciplinary with agree with the committee assisting with another school with the official of the firm performing their tasks. School official legitimate educational interest with the need with the review of the educational record fulfilled with a professional responsibility. GMC may disclose educational records used without consent with official with another school where the student with the SEC with the intent of the rules of the right to have a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education concerning the eligibility of the failures by the GMC Military College to comply with the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act with the name of the address of the official office of the Manner of Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act or Student Privacy Policy Act, the U.S. Department of Education, 400 Maryland Avenue, Southwest Washington, D.C., 2222. FERPA permits for the disclosure of personal identifiable and information from the student's education records with the student consent with the disclosure meet with certain conditions found in 9931 FERPA regulations. Shift for the disclosure of school official to disclose related to someone with the judicial order lawfully issued with the with the disclosure of the directory information disclosure to the student with the 9932 with the FERPA regulations require that the institution require the disclosure of the eligible students have the right to inspect the review of the record of the disclosure post-secondary institution may disclose personal identifiable information from the educational records without prior with the written consent of the student with the school official with the include with the teacher with the GMC with the school with the determined to have legible legitimate educational interest include with the contract control with the volunteer with the other party with the whom the scout with the school with the outsourced institutional service with the function provided with the condition 9931 A11, B1, A11, B3, or Mint 93, 9931A, for the official of another school of a student seek the intent of the rules wherever the student within early ready to enroll with the disclosure for the purpose related with the student with enrollment, transfer subject requirements 9934, 9931A2, authorized representative of the U.S. Comptroller with the U.S. Attorney General with the U.S. Secretary of Education, state, local, and educational authorities such as state, post, and secondary authority responsibility supervising university state supported education program disclosure provisions may be made subject to the requirement of 9935 connection with the audit evaluation federal state with the support of the educational program and enforcement compliant with the federal legal requirements related to these programs. These entities may disclose personal identifying information to the outside entity designated by them authorized representative to conduct with the audit, with the evaluation, enforcement, or compliance activity on their behalf in 9931A3 and in 9535. In connection with financial aid for which the students has applied with the student with received the information necessary to determine eligibility for the aid, with determine the amount of the aid, with determine the condition of the aid, with the enforcement of the determine the condition of the aid, 9931A4. To organization conducting studies on or behalf of the school with the develop, with the validate, with the administrative, with the predictive, with the administrative, with the student, with the aid programs, and with improve the instruction. To accrediting organization carry out with the accreditation function 9931A7 with the parents eligible student with the dependent with the IRS tax rate with the 9931A8, comply with the judicial order lawfully issued his opinion with the 9931A9 with the appropriate official with the concern with the health and safety emergency subject with the 9936 with the 993810. Information with the school with the designated with the directory information with the 9937 and the 9931A11, the victim and alleged for the perpetrator of the crime of the violence with a non-forcible sex offense, should for the requirement of 9939 with the disclosure that may only include with the final result of the disciplinary proceeding for the restrict with the alleged crime of the offense for the regard for the finding 9931A13, general public of the finding with the result of the disciplinary proceeding for the requirement of 9939 school for the determine the student with the alleged for the perpetrator of this crime of the violence with the non-forcible sex offense, student has committed to violation of school rules of policy with respect to allegation made against him and him or her. 9931A14, parents of the student with the regarding with the student with the violation of federal, state, and local law, any of the rule policy with the school governing with the use of the possession of alcohol with the controlled substance with the school determined student committed with a disciplinary violation, students under the age of 21. 9931A15 with the GMC with the designate with the following with the directory information, student with the name of the address, the telephone number, the date, and the place of the birth, the major field of the show, with the student with the staff, with the participation with the official record, and with the activity support with the wave, with the eye, with the member of the athletic team, date, attendance with the degrees of the award received with the most recent previous school with attendance with the photography, 8 GMC with the made with the discover those items without prior written consent with unless the student with a formally requesting with the writing when the information is not to be disclosed. Student with the intellectual property policy 1004 with the GMC file with the policy file provides intellectual property developed with the faculty staff with the student with the course with the employment of the country with the part-time, full-time with the presumed with the degree with the property Georgia military card with the in the degree with the which of the information we work were produced with the institution Georgia Military College, charity with the financial officer with the president with the representative with the result with the intellectual property ownership at the end with the compensation man with the shell with the work with the coordinated senior leaders, chief of the resource office of the Georgia Department of Law with the concern with the student with the faculty member, staff members to prepare with the modify with the contracts when necessary with the intellectual property information material that would qualify as a patent, copyright, or trademark, software, trade secret with the protection of information material that may include but printed, unprinted with visual, auditory with electronic magnetic records. Use of copyrighted works. Georgia Military College if the committed with the respect for the rights of the copyright holders and comply with the copyright law of the GMC recommend an exclusive right with the copyright holder with the balance with the limitation of the right to use of the federal copyright law include the right to make the fair use of the copyrighted material with the right to perform the display of the work during face-to-face teaching activity under policy 1000 GMC. Policy GMC employees within students are prohibited from using copywriting works in a way that are not authorized specific consumption of the copyright law will include granted explicit to educate with the classroom setting with licenses with the written permission of the copyright owner. Copyright provided with the creative with the original work over the authorship of the title limited exclusive of the rights by the right to copy the ship of the performance of the work of the layout balance of the private interest of the copy owners with the public interest. In other words, constitutional pro of the progress science for the useful arts of the share with the limited time and the authors invented with the exclusive of the right to restrict with the writings of the discoveries. Copyright laws gives copyright owners exclusive right with the reproduce work for the prepared or edited works based on the original and distributed copy of the public performing the work publicly and display of the work probably pub policy on drugs and alcohol. Any student of the organization normally permits, authorizes, and sale of the distribution for the possession, compensation, alcohol, use of marijuana, controlled substance, the industry of any social of the otherwise such as the sale of the distribution, sale of the possession, compensation, a use of the consumption of the such of the compliance law of the state of the have the recognition student organization with the drawing of the calendar year of the determination of guilt with the organization shall also be prohibited using property with the facility with the institution of the disciplinary action or subject to the administrative law with the tobacco with the product electronic cigarette. Georgia Military College is committed with the providing safety, the health, the environment overall, the student, with the employee, with the guest, with the visitor, with the GM, Georgia Smoke Free, with the Act, with the 2005 concurrent GMC, with the drug alcohol policies promulgated with the corpse cadet, with the possession, use, and sale of the tobacco prior with the campus strictly prohibited into all facilities operated on leased by GMC with included and unlimited subspace, classroom, laboratories, hallways, office with the corridors, dining area, with the restroom, common area, with the residential area, school vehicles, smoking other tobacco products with the restricted with the designated with the outdoors located away from the entrance of the common use of the walkways, further spot with the tobacco products with defined cigarettes, cigars, pipes, all forms of smokeless tobacco, cloves with cigarettes, any of the smoking device with the tobacco, such as the hookah, stimulate the use of the tobacco, such as electronic cigarettes and vape pens and jewels. Violation of the policy may result of the corrective action of the GMC student code with the contact human resource of the policy visitors violation policy of the may ask to leave the campus all of the campus of the GMC preparatory school of the corpus cadet may establish exemption due to the policy including the restriction of the use of the possession of tobacco prior with the GMC ground with the designated location outdoor area with the exemption for the educational purpose of the exemption should be limited to the effective content of the GMC policy. Voter registry for the Georgia citizens encouraged to register with the SOSDA.gov. GM students are resident with the other state with the job of the contact with the home which state with the Secretary of State with the Office of Apply for the absent ballotee, who's also registered for the local court with the voter registry, also for the driver's license bureau with the obtain the local Walmart, serve at the desk, register for the vote, the one ambassador with the U.S. citizen at least 17 and a half, the register 18 years to old to vote with the have of the valid ID card. All students employed with the encouraged to register with the vote, right to the moral obligation exemplifying GMC core value of the country in Georgia. Register information can be found on the following link: SOS Georgia CGov CJG Ben County Register Index ASP. Online Georgia residents can vote registration votes over the home campus for more details. Student services.